Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Master Reviewer back again with another review, and today we are doing a review for Sket. So there will be spoilers in this video for the Sket anime. I'm going to try to preface from now on. I'm just going to try to give a spoiler warning at the beginning of these reviews because it's going to make me feel more comfortable with. I don't want people to come into these reviews not knowing if there's going to be spoilers, and then suddenly they'll hear a spoiler if it's for something they were planning to watch. So I will try to give spoiler reviews from now on. So yeah, we are doing a review for the Sket anime, which is the first anime that I'm reviewing that I've rewatched. And so I also changed my schedule around a bit, which will allow me to review more shows and anime, because up to this point I have only reviewed, I think, about 5 shows and 5 anime, which is so I changed my schedule around, which will allow me to I changed the way I go about like my schedule for watching stuff, so it's going to allow me to review more anime and shows, hopefully. So anyway, we are doing a review for the Sket anime, and so yeah, let's just get started. Actually, while I'm still filming, I just remembered I do want to give a thanks to I don't know where I'll put this. Maybe I'll put this at the start of the video. Actually, it might be simpler that way, but I'll cut it in somewhere, but it will be in the video. I want to give a thanks for 15 subscribers. We finally made it to 15, and we went from 14 to 15, so we are now at 15 subscribers, which I am very thankful for. So I want to thank anyone that is new watching the channel. I hope that you are enjoying the content, and yeah, just once again, thank you. 15, it does kind of feel like a milestone. 15 is like every increment of 5 does kind of feel like a milestone personally. So yeah, 15 subscribers, once again, thank you. I appreciate it greatly. And yeah, back to the video. Starting off with the characters, I'm not going to speak too much on the characters. I'm not going to go too in depth because I am going to, after this, I'm going to try to film in succession a tier list for the characters of the show. But we are going to be, yes, that's what I'm going to do after this. So I'm going to speak briefly on the characters. So you have the main trio, which is Boson. It's weird. It's like they have their names and then they have their nicknames. So you have Boson, Onihime, and Switch. They are the main trio of the show. They are the ones that are part of the Sket Dance Club, and I'll speak about the plot first because it's pretty simple. It's just basically you have those 3 characters. They are a trio. They have a Sket Dance Club, which is basically a club that helps people around their school with whatever they need, not just at school, also outside of school sometimes, but they help people with any problems that they may have, and that is basically the plot of the show. Every episode, it's like something different. They're helping someone out, or they're dealing with some sort of issue, and it's always like the point is that they're helping someone. So that is the plot of the show, and it's very like each episode is very different. So it's you know, some episodes are better than others and stuff. There's like some backstory episodes for characters and all that. So I'm gonna give the plot a. I'm gonna go with it just because it's like very inconsistent. Like some episodes I do really like a lot. Some episodes they are not as good as others. But so because it's inconsistent, I'm just gonna give a. I'll give the plot a 7.5 to an 8, I'm thinking, and I'll be generous and give it an 8. I'll say it was great, the plot, like, because there is a lot of good episodes, a lot of good, interesting plots for the episodes that they managed to come up with. So it's by the same creator. I'm pretty sure the creator of this anime and manga is one of the assistants that ended up doing one of the assistants of the author of Gintama. So this show is very much the spiritual, not successor, but definitely the spiritual relative of Gintama, and there is even a crossover episode in the show. So yeah, anyway, so plot 8 out of 10, I would say. The characters, you have the main trio who are great. You have other than that, I'm not gonna list all of them because I will do that in the tier list, but I'm just gonna try to list some important ones. You have Enigma. He's in some of the episodes, he's like a quiz guy. He's cool. You have Usami, who is a part of the student council. She's like the one that she doesn't talk to men, but she has like split personality disorder, where it's like she when she ends up getting touched by a man, then she won't talk to women, and then she'll be obsessed with men. She's actually, her and Kiri, who is the ninja, who they only really show up in like the last few episodes, which is kind of disappointing. There's a manga, and I am definitely going to continue reading the manga to get the rest of the story, but it is a shame that they only showed up in like the last 5 episodes of the show to join the student council after 2 of the members leave. You have Husuke, who is just a pet owl. You have let's see who else here is worth mentioning. Date, he's like he's a goth kind of character. He's like very much into the I don't know, the goth aesthetic, I guess. So who else? You have Koma, who's a girl that's like very shy and very tall and very strong. You have Michiru, who is one of the members of the student council that ends up leaving. You have he's like a playboy. You have Mimori, who is the rich character of the show, who's part of the student council. You have Momoka, who is a delinquent who ended up she started off as a delinquent, but then she ended up getting into like acting and stuff. And so yeah, You have Yuki, who is she's very into the occult, and she battles with like Switch a lot about like myths and stuff, where Switch says no, there's a scientific explanation for this stuff, and then she says no, it's part of like a supernatural stuff and all that. You have Misara, who is a teacher that ends up joining the school. You have Roman, who is a manga artist. You have Saya, who is a tsundere character, which for those of you who don't know, it's like a character that it's like a girl that's I don't know how to describe this. It's like a girl that is here. Actually, I'll just read what the description says. Rough and tough exterior, soft sweet. Tsundere is a character who is or appears conflicted in their affection for another, seeming either interested or apathetic, dismissive, or even vicious in turns as the circumstances change. So it's like a character that's like oh, I don't actually like you. It's like they pretend to like be upset at like the person they like, but then secretly they like them. That's her character. And she does actually, she only shows up like relatively towards the end of the show, but she does actually become a pretty central character. You have Tsubaki, Sasuke, who is revealed to end up being Bosan, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but Fujisaki or Bosan, whatever you want to say, the main character. They end up finding out that they're related, him and Bosan, so they end up being they're twin brothers. They end up finding out. You have Shinzo, who is the one that he's a samurai. He pretends to be a samurai. He's like a actor or something like that. You have Agata, who was the previous student council president before he ended up leaving, and then you have Chuma, who is the counselor, the one that like every club needs a teacher like to supervise them, and Chuma is the one that ends up supervising the Sket club. Those are all the secondary characters, so I'm just going to look through the minor characters to see if there's anyone that is worth mentioning. And here, Gintoki, he was the main character of Gintama. He's in like one episode, so that's, I guess, worth mentioning. Other than that, you have Yamanobe. He's like one of the teachers who does show up for a pretty good number of episodes. He's like the one that keeps introducing these like really obscure games that no one's ever heard of, but then he ends up like getting the Sket dance, like get into it and stuff. So other than that, there is not any. There's a lot of characters here, and I'm not going to include I'm not going to include most of them in the tier list, probably because it is going to be way too long. But yeah, here off the top of my head, there's also the Jogasaki, who is one of the characters that was in the first episode, and he's also in the last episode. He's a character worth mentioning. He's like a bully, but he ends up like being not like such a terrible person. It's shown throughout the show. There's also I don't see where she's listed here, but there's also the captain. She's called Captain. I forgot her like actual name, and I can't see where she's listed here. But the captain of the sports team. She is a pretty. She's a character that shows up a pretty decent amount of times in the show. So yeah, in terms of the characters, all of them I would say between an 8 to an 8.5. There are a lot of them, and so like there are some that don't get as much screen time as others. There's also Daisy. She's another member of the student council. I forgot to mention her. Yeah, I'll get more into the characters when I do a tier list video, but for now I'm going to say the characters are 8 out of 10. I would say that they are great, and specifically the main trio, Bosun, Switch, and Onihime, they have really good backstories. Like this show, it is a comedy, but when they're capable of having like emotional moments, and they absolutely have like really great backstories, like some of the best that I've seen in anime. I would say for like a lot of people like say Switch has the best backstory, but I would think that like Bosun, his backstory is like really tragic and stuff. So all of them have like really good backstories. So I will get more into it in the probably the next video, which is going to be the tier list for the characters. In terms of the settings, this all takes place in their school, and it's a good setting. I would say a probably 7 out of 10. I would say it's a pretty good setting. It is fun to I don't know. It's a school. It works for the show. It's not like the most creative or anything, but it's pretty good. It works for the sake of the show. So just 7 out of 10. The art style I would probably give I'll go with between like a 7.5 to an 8. I would say it's probably not as good in my opinion as Interviews with Monster Girls, and it is probably to be honest, I kind of like the one of Dustman and Amnesia. I like that art style slightly better as well. This does have like the disadvantage of being made in around, I think this was, what year is this from? This is from 2011 and 2012. Okay, so it doesn't really have an excuse because it came out around the same year as Dustman and Amnesia. So I guess that's an excuse not to be as good as Interview with Monster Girls. But I'll say it's a very good art style. I would give it a 7.5. I would say I thought it was very good. And so yeah, in terms of the comedy, I would say it's good. It's also, I would give it probably a 7.5. It it's very like it depends on the episode. Some episodes it's like it's very funny. Other episodes the comedy doesn't quite work for me. So it's a bit like it just depends on what episode it is. But overall, like the comedy, it works. It can be very funny. There can be a lot of good bits and stuff. Some of it does have to do with like some of it doesn't translate the best because it's like some of it is jokes about like Japanese stuff like related to the words or like the culture or something. And so watching it and having it being translated to try to fit a to try to appeal to like a Western audience, sometimes it doesn't translate the best. But overall, I would still say it is a very good in terms of the comedy. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 7.5. I'm thinking maybe a 7 to a 7.5, like between pretty good and very good. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of like great bits, but watching the show, like it is definitely like I did laugh a few times. I'm gonna be harsh about this just because at the moment I can't really think of any standout comedy moments. I'm just gonna give the comedy a 7. Like I'll give it a 7 for now, just because I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. So 7 out of 10, pretty good. In terms of the worst thing is I don't necessarily know if there's a worst thing per se. I guess just the fact that like there's a lot of like characters and stuff, and so ultimately there's a lot of like plot points that don't end up that get introduced, but ultimately like you don't end up seeing too much of it. Like for example, the biggest one is just the last 2 characters that to join the student council, which is what's her name, Usami and Kiri. They're 2 characters that end up joining the student council in like the last 5 episodes. So because of that, it's like you don't really see too much of their characters. There's also other characters like Date, who gets shown up like in the second half of the show. Like it's 77 episodes, so it's like there's characters like Date and other ones that here Enigma, he doesn't really show up too much. Morishita, she's like a character. It's like you have some characters that they don't appear too often, and they're good characters. So it's like the potential it's a bit wasted on some, and also like plot points here and there that just don't really end up getting fully resolved. It feels like probably in the manga it does end up there's probably like in the manga like these plot points get expanded more, because I'm pretty sure the manga ends the manga, I think the anime only gets like halfway into the manga, and so the other half of the manga probably expands on a lot of these characters and stuff. But because it's not in the anime, just that is the worst thing in my opinion. And so I will say the utilization of certain plot points and characters, I'll give it a I'll say 6 out of 10, like above average, but not as good as I would hope. So in terms of the best thing, I'll say the best thing is probably I'm not really sure what the best thing is. I would probably just reuse the best score, I guess, which it's both the 8 for the characters and 8 for the plot. So I will give just another 8 for those, because I can't think of anything too specific off the top of my head that is the best thing. So I'm just going to reuse the best score. So yeah, that is I once again for Eyes of Wakanda, which is a review I did like yesterday, I think it was. I did end up writing notes, but that was because I was able to watch it all in one sitting. So I wrote notes, but then for this, it's like I watched this over the course of, I think, at least a month probably. So yeah, it did take a while. So I didn't write any like extra notes, because I can't write extra notes for something that I'm watching over the course of the month, because I have the production value I have for this is like one whiteboard and that's it. So yeah, I can't write stuff down, and then because then it's gonna I can't erase it afterwards. So anyway, so no extra notes. That's the point I'm getting to. So we are going to do the calculations. So King Crimson. All right, so it ends up coming out to a 7.5, which would be very good, and I would give it between a 7.5 to an 8. I think that it is definitely, you have like there is definitely like stuff in there that brings it up to an 8. I would say like it is I'm thinking, you know what, I'll be generous and I'll give it an 8. I would say that it is a great anime. I actually really like it. Just thinking about like not just the fact that they're also able to like blend a lot of the comedy aspects with like having really emotional moments in a lot of episodes, and like having really good character developments in the show. Like just all that stuff like really just brings it to an 8 out of 10. I would say it is great, and I liked it a lot. So yeah, so that is pretty much all there is to it. I think the next video is going to be a character ranking that I do for the characters, so that is going to be fun. And yeah, if you have any recommendations, any movies, shows, anime, video game stories, anything that you want me to review, then leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. But with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it, so let's leave it at that.